Namaste and welcome once more to the Introduction to Basic Spoken Sanskrit. Today is the fourth lecture on Introduction of Self and Others. The method that I am going to use to present spoken Sanskrit has been evolved by Samskrita Bharati. It's a worldwide organization that has been developing this method of making Sanskrit easily learnable by the people, and they conduct regular 10 days, 20 hours spoken Sanskrit camps across various parts of the country and in different parts of the world. So, as you go ahead and learn spoken Sanskrit, one of the important things that I will request you to do is to use a lot of body language, because you see, when you teach yourself a language using body movements, then you allow a lot more neural connections to form with the acquisition of any new word. So I would highly recommend that as you're learning this language, you use a lot of movements in order to depict the new words that you are learning. The objectives of this course of this particular session are the following. First, we will learn how to introduce oneself and others. Then I will teach you some basic pronouns in the singular form. From there, you will also learn some of the genders of different words in Sanskrit, and then I will just present to you the third person conjugation of the verb to be in the present tense, and also try and highlight to you some unique features of Sanskrit which is related to this verb to be. Mama nama Anuradha. Mama nama Anuradha. Mama nama Anuradha. When you ask a man, the question will be Bhavataha Nama Kim?
Mama nama pijusakanti palaha.
Uttama. So the question is Bhavataha Nama Kim? Now, because of the certain macho nature of the word Bhavataha, I normally recommend that you do it with the action Bhavataha Nama Kim. Try that out. Bhavataha Nama Kim? Bhavataha Nama Kim?
Mama nama pijusakanti palaha.
Uttama. Alright. So now when you have a lady before you, you would say Bhavatyaha Nama Kim? Bhavatyaha Nama Kim? Bhavatyaha Nama Kim?
Mama nama Architaha.
Uttama. Bhavatyaha. You see, when we do this for a lady, I normally joke and say that whenever you see a lady pass by, you have a jaw drop, and then you have the breath that leaves you. So you have the Bhavatyaha. Okay, so that makes it easy for you to remember the word. So Bhavatyaha Nama Kim? I just revise that for you. Bhavataha Nama Kim?
Mama nama pijusakanti palaha.
Uttama. Bhavatyaha Nama Kim?
Mama nama Archita.
Uttama. When you're asking somebody the name is Bhavataha Nama Kim and Bhavatyaha Nama Kim. Both the terms Bhavataha and Bhavatyaha refer to the you in the formal case, and therefore there is a difference between the masculine as well as the feminine. Now what I want you to do is, I will give you certain names and you ask me the right question. So if I tell you Mama Nama Sita, the question would be Bhavatyaha Nama Kim? Mama Nama Gita. Yeah, great. Bhavatyaha Nama Kim? Mama Nama Ramaha. Bhavataha Nama Kim? Mama Nama Girishaha. Bhavataha Nama Kim? Very nice. So, I'll show you the written form of what we have just done. We have Mama Nama to say that my name is. The question to a man is Bhavataha Nama Kim? To a lady is Bhavatyaha Nama Kim? And then when we have the informal way of asking. The informal question is Tava nama kim. Now the tava doesn't depend on the gender. You can ask a man as well as a woman the same question. Tava nama kim. And the answer is Mama nama whatever. It can be Mama nama Piyush Kanti Palaha or Mama nama Archita. It would not change. The next lesson is when you are introducing somebody, introducing the third person. So, Saha Piyushaha, Saha Piyushaha, Kaha Piyushaha, Saha Piyushaha. Now the word Saha refers to he. In the English language, when I tell you he, then it doesn't tell you about he that or he this. In Sanskrit, the distance is coded into the word itself. So when I say Saha, it means he who is far. So Saha Piyushaha. Now when you have somebody who is near, then it becomes Eshaha. Eshaha Prithvi. Eshaha Prithvi. Kaha Prithvi? Eshaha Prithvi. And when he is far, it will be Saha Piyushaha. Kaha Piyushaha? Saha Piyushaha. And Eshaha Prithvi. Eshaha Prithvi. Did you get that? Saha, Eshaha, and the question is Kaha, who is? Kaha Prithvi? Eshaha Prithvi. Now, when you have two ladies with you, then you would say Sa Shravani, Sa Shravani, Ka Shravani, Sa Shravani. You remember when Piyush was far, we were saying Saha Piyushaha, Saha Piyushaha. Now, when it's a lady, it becomes Sa Shravani. Say that. Sa Shravani. Very good. And as you say it, I really recommend that you use your hand to point far away so that your body learns the distance that is embedded in the words. And I have Archita who is right next to me. So I would say Esha Archita. Esha Archita. Ka Archita. Esha Archita. Once more. Esha Archita. And far away, Sa Shravani. Sa Shravani. Ka Shravani. Sa Shravani. Ka Archita. Esha Archita. Esha Archita. So can we revise that for the feminine ones? When she's far away, it will be Sa. When she's near, it is Esha. And the question is Ka. So Sa, Esha, Ka. I'll just draw your attention on a precision of pronunciation. The sh that is there is the murdha sh, which means that the tongue touches the roof of the palate. So it's Esha. You will hear the difference if one says Esha or if one says Esa and if one says Esha. So I really recommend that you put in these precisions of pronunciation right from the moment go. So let's say that again. Sa Shravani, Esha Archita and Ka Archita, Ka Shravani. Got that? So in Sanskrit we have three genders. We have looked at the masculine and the feminine for far and near. Next we will look at the neuter gender. So I have with me a fruit, and if I keep the fruit far away, it becomes tat. Imagine that it's far away and I say tat phalam. Tat phalam. Kim phalam? Tat phalam. And if I have a flower which is just next to me, I will say etat pushpam. Etat pushpam. Kim pushpam? Etat tat pushpam. So did you catch the different words? When it is far, it is tat. When it is near, it is etat. And the question is kim. So I'd now like to show it to you on the screen on the board. So we are looking at the third person pronoun for he, she and it. And when you're introducing another person, for a person who's far masculine, you would say saha. When it's near, it is he is a shaha. And the question is kaha. In the feminine case, it is sa, esha, ka. And in the neuter, we have tat, etat, kim. I hope you have got that. I will do a certain exercise for you and allow you to say saha or eshaha correctly. So, eshaha kaha, eshaha kaha. The answer is eshaha Rabindranathaha, eshaha Rabindranathaha, eshaha kaha, eshaha Rabindranathaha. Saha, saha kaha, saha kaha, saha Swami Vivekanandaha, saha Swami Vivekanandaha. Kaha Swami Vivekanandaha? Saha Swami Vivekanandaha. Uttamam. We'll do this for the feminine. Mirabai. Ka Mirabai. Ka Mirabai. Esha Mirabai. Esha Mirabai. Durga. Durga. Ka Durga. Sa Durga. Ka Durga. Sa Durga. Very good. Next, I will just talk to you a little bit about the objects and their genders, because unlike in English language, in the English language, the gender of the object depends on the object itself. In Sanskrit, the gender of the word depends on the ending of the word. For example, we have the word for glass, which is chashakaha. Chashakaha. And the question is, kaha chashakaha? And the answer is, eshaha chashakaha. Kaha chashakaha? Eshaha chashakaha. So which gender was that? You got it? This was a masculine word. Similarly, we have talaha, meaning a lock. Talaha. Kaha talaha? Eshaha talaha. Chamasaha. Kaha chamasaha? Eshaha chamasaha. Very good. Dhana syutaha. Syutaha is a bag and this is a money bag. So, dhana syutaha. Kaha dhana syutaha? Eshaha dhana syutaha. Very good. We'll move on to some feminine words. So, listen to the ending of the words. Sthalika, sthalika. Ka sthalika, esha sthalika, esha sthalika. You guess the gender of the word? It's a feminine word. Churika, churika. Ka churika, esha churika. Very good. Mala, mala. Ka mala, esha mala. Kunchika, kunchika, the key. Ka kunchika, esha kunchika. Now we have some other words that end with E. which are also feminine. So, Duravani, very important gadget in today's world. Duravani, Ka Duravani, Esha Duravani. Duravani, it's a sound that comes from far. So, Duravani, Ka Duravani, Esha Duravani. Lekhani, Lekhani, Ka Lekhani, Esha Lekhani. Kupi, Kupi, a bottle. Ka Kupi, Esha Kupi. And finally, the words with the neuter that we've looked at before, but I'll just do one or two in this context. Pushpam, Pushpam, Kim Pushpam, Etat Pushpam. Kim Pushpam, Etat Pushpam. So that's a hand and that's a fan. The word for fan is Vyajanam and the word for hand is Kara. So this becomes a Kara Vyajanam. Kim Kara Vyajanam, Etat Kara Vyajanam. Kim Kara Vyajanam, Etat Kara Vyajanam. Uttamam. So I hope you have understood how the gender of a word is determined based on the endings of the word. So you have to listen to the endings very, very carefully in Sanskrit and then determine the gender accordingly. So we have next the verb to be in the third person present tense. So the verb is asti and nasti. Chashakaha asti. Chashakaha asti. Jalam, water asti, jalam nasti. Chashakaha asti, jalam nasti. Chayam asti, chayam nasti. So the words are asti and nasti. So the word asti and then nasti is comprised of na plus asti, and there is a phonetic combination that takes place and it becomes nasti. So let's do a few exercises here. So pipasa asti, thirst. Pipasa asti, jalam nasti. Jalam nasti. Bubhuksha, hunger. Bubhuksha asti, bhojanam nasti. Bubhuksha asti, bhojanam nasti. Now there is a certain relationship between these sentences that can be established by the word kintu. So in the next sentence on the screen we see karyam, work. Karyam asti kintu samayaha nasti. Karyam asti samayaha nasti. Karyam asti kintu samayaha nasti. The next one, mastakam asti buddhihi. So it's up to each one to fill up, I guess, that one. Fine. So the next that we will look at is I am. I am in Sanskrit is aham. Aham anuradha. Aham mahila. So aham. Aham is the I in Sanskrit. So you say aham anuradha, aham mahila, aham bharatiya. And when you want to formally ask a man, who are you? Then the question would be bhavan kaha. Bhavan kaha.
Aham piyushaha. Aham purushaha. Aham bharatiyaha.
Uttamam. So he would also answer as aham bharatiyaha. Being a woman, I would say aham Bharatiya. So the adjectives go according to the subject. Now, Bhavan kaha?
Aham Prithvinatah. Aham Ayati Chhatrah.
Uttamam. So, Aham Anuradha. Bhavan kaha? Bhavan kaha? That's the question. And we listen to their answers.
Aham Piyushah.
Okay.
Aham Prithvinatah.
Uttamam. Dhanyavadah. And when you are now in front of two beautiful ladies, what would you say? Aham Anuradha. Bhavati ka. Bhavati ka. Bhavati ka.
अहम श्रावणी अहम महिला अहम संगीत प्रिया
Uttamam. And asking Archita, Bhavati ka.
Aham Archita. Aham Bharatiya. Aham Nritya Priya.
Very good. So, as you've noticed, when a man speaks, he says Aham Bharatiyaha, and when a lady speaks, she says Aham Bharatiya. Sangeeta Priyaha. Sangeeta Priya. Nritya Priyaha. Nritya Priya. You have to make this distinction in the adjectives when you're talking about a man and when you're talking about a lady. So, I will just show this to you on the screen now so that you also get familiar with the written aspect of this language. So, here we have aham, and then there is the verb asmi, which is conjugated in the first person present tense. So, aham anuradha is actually sufficient, but if you want to elaborate it and make the entire sentence, it would be aham anuradha asmi, which means I Anuradha am. So, the asmi refers to I am. And now, as we see on the screen, we have aham mahila asmi, aham bharatiya asmi, aham Sanskrita priya asmi. All this would be for a woman, of course. And then when a man is saying, he would say, if I ask the question first, it would be Bhavan kaha. The answer would be aham purushaha, aham bharatiyaha, aham Sanskrita priya, Sangeeta priyaha. And a lady would, the question to a lady would be Bhavati ka, and she would answer aham chhatra, aham deshabhakta. And when we are talking in the informal context, the question would be Tvam kaha. And as we have seen, when you are asking a man, it would be Tvam kaha. When you ask a lady, it would be Tvam ka. And the answers would vary accordingly. The verb to be for the second person informal is asi. So, the whole question would be Tvam kaha asi or Tvam ka asi. And we have it there, Tvam kaha asi, Tvam ka asi. The answer, if it's a man, would be aham gayakaha. If it's a lady, aham gayika. And the verb to be in the first person is optional. So, you could say aham gayakaha or aham gayika asmi. Or you can also say aham sanskritajnaha or aham sanskritajna, knower of Sanskrit. Another adjective, aham shantaha or aham shanta. So, the yes or no in Sanskrit is am or na. So, if the question is Bhavan or Tvam krida priyaha kim, and if yes, he would say am aham krida priyaha. If it's a lady, you would ask Bhavati or Tvam shikshika kim, and the answer is na, aham na shikshika or aham shikshika nasmi. Now, I thought we could apply what we have just studied in the context of the Upanishads, and we have these famous Mahavakyas, the great 4 sentences from the different Upanishads. The first one being aham brahmasmi. Aham Brahma plus asmi becomes Aham Brahmasmi. This is from the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad and it means I am Brahman. The philosophical purport of this is fantastic and it is something that you can spend a lifetime contemplating upon what it would mean. And then the next Mahavakya says, not just I am that, but you are also that. Tat Tvam Asi. That you are. Not just I am that Brahman consciousness, but you too are fundamentally that same Brahman consciousness. Tat Tvam Asi, coming from the Chandogya Upanishad. And the realization of that, Saha Aham Asmi, that I am. Soham Asmi. So the Saha Aham combines together with the Sandhi and becomes Soham Asmi from the Ishopanishad. In this case, you would have often heard the very short mantra and a very powerful mantra, which is just Soham. It is a mantra that you can chant very often, and they say it is also related to our breathing pattern. So we say Ham Sas Soham, Ham Sas Soham. It is a constant reminder through our breath that essentially we are nothing but the breath itself. And that breath, the quality of that breath is that of the infinite Brahman. So saying this, I would like to just share with you a beautiful quotation by Dr. Radhakrishnan. He says, Sanskrit has molded the minds of our people to an extent to which they themselves are not conscious. Sanskrit literature is national in one sense, but its purpose has been universal. That is why it commanded the attention of people who were not followers of a particular culture. So, Dhanyavadaha.